Hello YouTube family, thanks for joining me on my videos. If you like the videos, please give me a like. If you've not subscribed, please consider subscribing to the channel to help the channel grow. Thanks for watching the videos. Sincerely, thanks for watching. Thank you for joining me on this video, my first video since I started this channel with no facial hair. I decided to do a clean shave today, and by all means let me know whether the facial hair or no facial hair works best for me, but thanks for joining me. Let's dive right in. This video is about my 1 week suspension from YouTube, and I'd addressed it before on my Facebook page, and I figured I'd do a video about it since there are people who get hit with warnings, who get hit with strikes, who get hit with suspensions. Sometimes they are absolutely deserved. Sometimes they are, as I'm sure, as with my case, I'm sure some of them are just victims of a really crappy algorithm, which is the case for me. It was just a matter of the algorithm really rather sucked, and I wanted to address that. Plus, if there are other people who have gotten warning strikes, I'd like to make sure they know the process to go through to try and get that resolved. And as I beat my mic up, for me, it was I'd gotten a warning, which a warning you're not penalized in any way for. If you get a second knock against you, it becomes a strike. At that point, you get a 1 week suspension. If you get a second strike before your first strike, which I believe the strikes last for a year. If you get a second strike, you're suspended for 2 weeks. 1 strike, 1 week, 2 strikes, 2 weeks, 3 strikes within a year, and you are completely permanently banned from YouTube. And I wanted to address that for people who are having issues also on YouTube. Plus, I believe it shows one of the many reasons why there is so much misinformation distributed around the United States and around the world, because some voices are amplified while some voices are tamped down. So let's start out by going through some of the interactions I had. And if you were to get a strike and a one week suspension on YouTube, the process you go through is you appeal the strike. It looks like most of the time the appeals are denied, and you move to the second point of order, which is to send a tweet to @TeamYouTube on Twitter, which did not work for me, and then you go to the YouTube forum and address it there, which is where I got resolution at. So I started out with the YouTube forum, posting this message explaining that I got a strike and a 7-day suspension for medical misinformation. I did not post misinformation. I posted a video on September 4th, 2021, regarding the misinformation being pushed by folks like Fox News that ivermectin is a legitimate COVID treatment. I specifically criticized the misinformation being pushed. You can find Fox News clips on their YouTube channel where their hosts are pushing ivermectin based on a retracted study. They are not suspended. They are not punished. Is it all money based? Those with money can push misinformation, and those without loads of money get punished for pointing out the misinformation. YouTube, by calling my video misinformation, is saying they believe ivermectin is a reasonable treatment for COVID and COVID prevention, Is YouTube in favor of people using ivermectin? Why punish me for pointing out the absurdity of using livestock dewormer instead of just getting the vaccine? And so I had a little bit of sauciness and resentment towards YouTube in my post. And as you'll notice, as I go through these various interactions between myself and the gold product expert at YouTube, he never really addresses why Fox never gets punished. They put out misinformation, their videos are up, nobody has a problem. So the next message is from the gold product expert at Eric Parker. He asked the question, have you appealed? If your appeal is denied, please post a screenshot of that and a link to your video, the one removed for community guidelines, not a re-upload. And I will escalate internally. This is likely the result of a mistaken algorithm intended to remove videos pushing ivermectin as a COVID-19 treatment. And he quickly, goes to the algorithm. I'm assuming that's because they have lots of problems with the algorithm taking down videos that really aren't what the algorithm's targeting the video as being, which it would seem to me a company as tech savvy as Google, which owns YouTube, would have the ability to say, we need to fix our algorithm. I mean, I would assume they have the tech savvy, the computer experts, the programming experts who could say, we need to tweak the algorithm so it's not pulling down accurate information and it's actually just targeting misinformation. But like I said, YouTube still has plenty of Fox News videos up, and this guy that I'm communicating with from YouTube also brings it up. Did you play clips of Fox News in your video where they're pushing it? That may have got you the strike, and which puzzles me. I'm like, so they can play it themselves on their channel, the misinformation. If I play the misinformation, then give pushback to the BS they're pushing, I get suspended. That just seems absurd to me. But we go on. And so I did what he explained. I posted information from my channel. I posted information from my dashboard and links to the videos. I appealed and it was denied almost instantly. The algorithm is garbage. The misinformation that Fox News is putting out is easily available on YouTube. Any individual content creator like me trying to fight against the misinformation is attacked by YouTube's algorithm. Attached is a screenshot of the strike. The video links are below, and then I have the two videos. And the first one at the top is the one about ivermectin, where I was pointing out the absurdity of using an anti-parasitic medication to fight COVID. And ivermectin does have a version of the drug made for people, but it's not for viruses. It's still a dewormer. It's still for roundworm. It's a anti-parasitic drug. And you'll have people on the right pointing out that the scientist who converted this livestock drug to use for humans won a Nobel Prize, but not for fighting viruses. It was for fighting parasitic infections in human beings, because there are a lot of really poor countries around the world where parasite infections are a big deal and is a constant struggle for populations. And so I posted all the information about the strike, the warning, and as it shows down here, the strike was on September 5th, 2021. It expires December 4th. So it's, 3 months or whatever it is. It's not that 90 days. So it's not that bad of a thing as far as, I think it would be difficult for someone. You would almost have to be trying to get 3 strikes, within 90 days. And as one of the people in the thread pointed out to me, for the title of the one about ivermectin, the title says, "Forget vaccines, the right wing is turning to livestock dewormer to fight COVID." And he pointed out that the title, the things that can get you strikes, is the title, the details about the video that you put underneath the video, and then content within the video itself. And he was saying the title by itself. He was saying if I deleted the part that says "Forget vaccines" and just made the title "The Right Wing is Turning to Livestock Dewormer to Fight COVID," that it may not have gotten a strike. But that's really not favorable for the algorithm to say that it's that easy for the algorithm to nail you for sarcasm, basically. The product expert at YouTube says, "I have escalated the issue as it's clearly a mistake on the algorithm's part, which may simply delete anything that mentions ivermectin. Just a question, did you include clips of the misinformation in your videos? It's possible that set off an algorithm." And that's the thing I don't get is, yes, I did include clips of at least 3 Fox News hosts pushing ivermectin. Tucker Carlson, Sean Hannity, and Laura Ingraham. Laura Ingraham was one of the first people to start pushing ivermectin. When the Egyptian study came out, the one that got retracted because it was done incorrectly. The results were wrong. The results were not reliable in that study because it wasn't not a correct scientific double-blind study. So they, the ones who did it, retracted it. But you have people like Fox News still pushing that retracted study. And then, as anywhere on social media, whether it's Twitter, YouTube, wherever, Facebook, you will always get people with these insane trolling comments. I mean, even in this thread where I'm addressing my being suspended by YouTube, I had one of these guys chime in because he couldn't help himself. The comment is, "You are doing the misinformation. Stop being a pathetic conformist sheep and learn thyself some critical thinking skills. See, your problem is being a fascist, authoritarian socialist," in parentheses, because apparently he doesn't know what a fascist is. "You cheerlead for that cult, then get upset when a fascist corporation like Google becomes a control freak. I bet you already took 5 booster shots and wear 3 layers of masks." I've not taken a booster shot, but since my job is in transportation, I'm an air traffic controller, I may end up being available to get a booster shot because I'm considered essential personnel because airports aren't going to shut down. And if a booster shot is available, I will take it. I don't wear 3 layers of mask. I just wear a mask that has a carbon filter in it, which I believe is probably sufficient considering I'd rarely go out anywhere. I don't go into big crowds, and I'm not going to movies, I'm not going to shows, I'm not doing anything normal because I want to get over COVID like any normal person. Funny thing is, just saying, you're a sheep, you're a conformist sheep because you listen to scientists. And then his idea of fascism is authoritarian socialist, which I don't consider myself a socialist, maybe a social democrat. I'm certainly in favor of capitalism. And he says, "I cheerlead for that cult." Meanwhile, we're talking about people taking damn livestock dewormer. We already have a few deaths from people who took ivermectin. The problem is the ivermectin that was approved for people, for human beings, the one that won the Nobel Prize, is a lot more pricey and a lot more difficult to get. The horse paste down at the feed store, that's a lot cheaper and a lot easier to get. That's the one so many people are getting their hands on that are getting sick, that are poisoning themselves, and now some of them have died. And that's not the cult. That's why I do this channel. There are some people who cannot help themselves but to show an extreme amount of ignorance. But that's the story of my suspension. In the end, they removed the warning, they removed the strike. I'm completely free and unhindered by the suspension, and now it's just a matter of moving forward and seeing what else we can break as we try to navigate our way through social and political issues of the day. That's what I do this YouTube channel for. That's what it's for. That's what I'm doing here. And hopefully it's informing or entertaining some of you. Hopefully it's worthwhile for some of you. I mean, I have a rather low, small social media footprint. You know, I'm not affecting that many people. I have, I think, 22 subscribers. Rather non-existent channel overall. But hopefully some people are getting valuable information out of it. As for this video, if you are a YouTube creator and you find yourself in a position where you have a warning, since I've gone through it, I would say once you get a warning, I would go through these steps with the warning, just so if something comes up again, you don't get a strike, you don't get a suspension. I mean, I make no money from this channel, so getting a 1-week suspension doesn't hurt me financially. I have a job that I make a living from. But for people who are depending on income from YouTube, it can be devastating to go for a week without an income. And if you get a warning, I would say go through these steps. You know, appeal it. It's most likely going to be denied, the appeal. And then send out a tweet to @TeamYouTube to address the issue. If you get no result there, then go to the YouTube forum and post a thread. Explain your problem. Let one of the YouTube people get involved with it, where they can actually look at the video and say, yeah, he's right. It was the algorithm. His video is not misinformation, or whatever they're attacking you for. I would say do it once you get a warning. That way you resolve that and you don't have a strike coming. That way if the algorithm tags you again, it's just a warning again and no suspension. But that's the 3 steps. Appeal, tweet towards @TeamYouTube, and then go to the YouTube forum and address it there. I hope this video has helped some people. Please, if you like the videos, give me a like. If you've not subscribed, consider subscribing to my channel, as that will help the channel grow. By all means, have a good day.